Hello everyone, welcome again to another series of videos from Electronics Eternity. This time around, we will be looking at using CA certificate with our ESP32. So I want to quickly explain why using a CA certificate is so important when connecting to your ESP32 or any device to secure server. If you just connect using URL like www.google.com, your device is relying on DNS to find the server. The problem is DNS can be spoofed and attackers can trick your device into connecting to a fake server that looks like Google but actually isn't. This is where a CA certificate comes in. A CA or a certificate authority is a trusted organization that verifies the identity of servers. When you load the CA certificate into your ESP32, it doesn't just trust the DNS results. Instead, it checks that the server presents a valid certificate signed by the trusted CA and that name matches the server you expect. In simple terms, the URL tells you where to connect, but the CA certificate proves who you really are talking to. That way, your connection is encrypted, authentic, and safe from imposters. So remember, always use a CA certificate when setting up a secure HTTPS connection on your device. It's a small step that makes a huge difference in security. So let's look at a code on how we can do this with our ESP32. Okay, now without further delaying, let's look at the code. So at the beginning of the code, you have the libraries that is important for your uh, Wi-Fi capabilities. Next, you have to declare your Wi-Fi SSID name and also your Wi-Fi password as usual. Whenever we're using Wi-Fi capabilities, we need to do that. So next, so we have this constant char, which is supposed to hold root CA certificate, right? So, so this is the entire certificate, uh, like what we spoke earlier in our introduction, right? So all these characters are basically the root CA certificate for Google, right? So this will help you to identify uniquely what is Google's CA certificate, and also it will ensure that you are really connecting to Google whenever you're trying to access www.google.com. All right. So now, how do I find this? Is I go to this repository, right? So there is PKI, GOG, and then repository. So I've actually placed a website link over here, so you got nothing to worry about. So you just go here and you look for CA certificate details, and so when you expand this, you will find the CA certificate. What you need to do is you need to download this in this particular format, which is the PAM format, and you can open it in Notepad. So in Notepad, it will look like this. Okay, so this is the format, and you just have to copy paste it like this over here, right? So you need to you need to enter a new line, and this particular slash over here allows you to allows you to enter this on the next line, right? So it's a multiple line, so you have to do this. You have to declare new line, and then you have to close the apostrophe, and then you have to do the slash again, so that you could copy multiple lines, and so that it's comprehensible by our ESP32. All right, so begin certificate and certificate. Now, let's look into the next part. So the next part is Wi-Fi client, secure client. So we're basically naming our client as client, that's all. All right, so void setup, begin the serial communications, begin the Wi-Fi connection, and it will try to connect. For as long as it tries to connect, it will populate a dot, and once it is connected, it will print out connected. Okay, so so it will remain in this while loop until your Wi-Fi connection is successfully established. So next, we'll try to connect to the root certificate, which we just copy pasted over here. And so if client connection fail, it will print fail. Uh, if it doesn't, then it will say connected with Google with TLS, right? So next is client print. So we get HTTP1 and then we connect to the google.com, and once we have successfully connected, we close, and then I think we're printing a plain blank line over here. Okay, so while the client is being connected, so we will read the string until we find a new line, right? And if a new line is found, then next we look for is slash r. So this is basically the carriage return. So whenever we find a carriage return, so that's basically telling that it's I mean, it's a new line, right? So because in HTML, whenever we want to declare a new line, it has to be a combination of slash n and slash r. So we look for slash n first, and then we look for slash r. So if slash r is found, then we break the function, right? So we go to the next part. So it will then basically print out whatever we find in www.google.com. So the reason why we're doing this is because we don't want our ESP32 to read every single thing that we have in www.google.com, simply because it's too much, and ESP32 RAM is limited, right? So I've put the explanation over here. So HTTP lines always ends with this. This will basically say return to the start, and this will say go to the next line. So it's a combo that is known as carriage, CRLF, right? I think it's carriage return, and I'm not sure I forgot what LF means. So basically, it's a combination of R and N that tells us we're going to go to the next line. So it will print whatever we find before the next line, and everything is accumulated and printed out in our serial monitor. Okay, so so this is how the outcome looks. So I've already uploaded the code, and so let me show you how the outcome looks. So let me try to upload the code now. So it takes a while to compile. Okay, it's writing to our ESP32 right now, and let's see. So it's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi, and for as long as it connects to the Wi-Fi, it will print out this dot. Okay, successfully connected, and let's see what are the response that we got. So we have successfully connected to Google TLS, as per what we have written in our code earlier. So this is the basically all this is basically the return from our ESP32, so which is pointing to www.google.com, right? All these are just the HTML codes that we would find, and see, you could see domain.google.com. What else could we see? Okay, so it's the usual HTML code whenever we're like trying to access www.google.com. So of course we wouldn't see this when we go to Google, right? But then this is the underlying HTML code. So that's the key takeaway. The URL points your device in the right direction, but the CA certificate, make sure that you're talking to the real server, not the fake one, right? So if you're working with ESP32 or any IoT project, don't skip this step. This is what keeps your data safe and your connection secure and your project professional, right? So this is basically taking your project to one next level, right? So by adding like verification of a CA certificate, it basically makes your project a lot more professional than just the usual ESP32 projects that you do for fun, right? So this is something you can consider. So thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more IoT and security tips. Drop your questions here in the comments. I like to hear what you're building. which can be related to this or not. All right. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.